The Bee's Silent Song, a Curiosity Creek adventure. It was a warm May morning in Curiosity Creek, the kind of day that felt like a giant, sun-warmed hug. Pip the Possum sat nestled in a thick patch of soft green clovers. In his small paws he held his favorite possession, a tiny wooden flute carved from a fallen willow branch. He closed his eyes and waited for the music of the meadow to inspire him. Surrounding Pip were tall, swaying wild roses and bright, yawning snapdragons. He took a deep breath, ready to play a song that matched the beauty of the flowers. But when he blew into his flute, only a soft hiss came out. The meadow was full of sounds, the bubbling creek, the rustling leaves. But Pip wanted to find a melody that was truly special. Suddenly, a fuzzy visitor landed on a snapdragon right in front of Pip's nose. It was Kairos the bee. Usually, bees were very noisy neighbors. But Kairos was different. He didn't make a single buzz. He moved with a graceful wiggle, his wings shimmering like soap bubbles in the sunlight. Pip watched him, fascinated by the quiet traveler. Kairos flew in a slow, swirling loop-de-loop around Pip's head. He seemed to be inviting Pip to follow him. Pip tucked his flute into his belt and scrambled onto his feet. "Where are we going, Kairos?" Pip asked with a whisper. The bee didn't answer with words, but he performed a tiny somersault in the air before zipping toward the edge of the creek. They trekked over mossy stones and under the giant leaves of ferns. Kairos led Pip to a hidden corner of the garden where the air smelled like wild honey and rain. Every time Pip tried to play a note on his flute to keep the beat, Kairos would waggle his stripes as if to say, "Not yet, little possum. The best part is coming." Near a hollow log they ran into Skitter the squirrel. Skitter was busy sorting a pile of shiny pebbles. "Have you heard the silent song today?" Skitter asked, flicking his bushy tail. Pip shook his head. "I've heard the wind and the water, but Kairos hasn't made a sound," Pip explained, pointing to his buzzing, but quiet friend. Skitter pointed a tiny claw toward a very large, very golden snapdragon growing in the shade of an oak tree. "The song isn't for our ears, Pip," Skitter whispered. Kairos flew straight to the golden flower. Instead of drinking nectar, he pressed his fuzzy chest against the blossom and began to shiver with incredible speed. Pip realized the secret. Kairos was vibrating at a special frequency, a silent song that only the flowers could feel. Pip pulled out his wooden flute. He didn't blow a high, whistling note this time. Instead, he hummed a low, deep sound into the wood, making the flute vibrate in his paws to match the rhythm of Kairos's wings. As the vibration from Pip's flute joined the rhythm of Kairos's wings, the golden snapdragon began to pulse with light. Suddenly, pop! The flower opened wide, releasing a cloud of glittering magical pollen that danced in the air like tiny stars. Pip laughed as the sparkles landed on his nose. The silent song had worked. The sun began to dip below the trees of Curiosity Creek, turning the sky into a painting of orange and purple. Pip sat back in his clover patch, tired but happy. Kairos landed on Pip's shoulder, finally letting out one tiny, contented B-Z-Z. Pip played a soft, gentle lullaby on his flute, knowing that sometimes the most beautiful music is the kind you feel in your heart.